Hi, my name is Ginny Nichols. I've been teaching math for about 7 years. And math is a subject where you can't just learn by osmosis. You actually have to do practice problems. Time constraints at school don't always permit for enough practice problems because some students need to do it over and over. So I have to assign homework. Homework is not accepted by some students quite often because they don't want to take their private time to do practice problems. So it becomes a struggle. I'd like to introduce the flipped classroom to my students. This is where students would have the responsibility of watching the lesson on their own, at home, or wherever they feel comfortable. The lesson would be a video or a PowerPoint or even bookwork where they would be taking notes on the lesson, and then they would come into class and we would do practice problems. I would ask that parents sign something saying that their child has watched the video or the lesson, and maybe that they've watched it also with them. My research hypothesis is that introducing the flipped classroom style of teaching will encourage students to do their homework and to see the connection of school to home. I hope that doing the homework will improve their understanding of the new concepts, and this will lead to better scores in their assessment. This will in turn lead students to take ownership of their education. I propose to use 2 algebra classes. One will be my control group and one will be my experimental group. Before they start this unit, they will take a pre-test. The test will be the same test for both classes. This test will be developed by the other teachers in the math department. After they've taken the control group will be taught in a traditional method, and the experimental group will be taught with the flipped classroom. Both groups will be asked to take a survey to give their impressions of homework. When the unit's done, they both will take a post-test to see their improvements. I'll ask the experimental group and their parents to take a survey to see if anything has changed. I will use the survey information as qualitative information to use along with the data on their scores to see if there's any correlation with their feelings and how well they did. I'll introduce you to a young lady that I've been tutoring for the past 2 years and her mom. I'd just like to interview them and talk about my hypothesis and see what they think about it. This is Dylan and her mom Sharon. I was asked by Sharon to help her daughter, Dylan was a 5th grader, with her times tables because she was having a little trouble, and we wanted to try to enrich her foundations and understanding of math to make it a little stronger. So Dylan, what's your impression of homework?
Homework's really tricky, especially when Mommy can't help me, and sometimes I even have to send it back because it's too hard for me to figure out, and we're doing a new math program that she doesn't really know how to do.
So, what do you think is the importance of homework? Do you think it's important, or do you think you don't really have to do it?
It depends on the homework.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, we go over something the first day, and then the next day we have homework on it, and I feel that's not needed because maybe give us a couple days, then give us homework.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's to make sure we're ready for a test, and I think that's needed so we can get it stuck in our brain.
Okay. Now you told me once that you found a video from the Khan Academy, and you introduced it to your teacher. And can you tell me what she did? And
she showed it to the entire class and some of the other classes, and it helped a lot of people with the simplifying. And she thought it was really helpful. And now she has us go on Khan Academy and watch videos for homework sometimes.
So you've kind of done the flipped the flipped classroom.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah? And Mom, did you watch with her?
I did, and I like to be involved in her homework because math has changed a lot, or at least the way they teach math has changed a lot since when I was a student, and it's not unusual once a year, whatever grade she's in, for me to meet with the teacher to learn how they're teaching the math. I think it's important for me to know that so I can try to help her be as strong as she can.
I don't think it's, at first when I thought about this research or the flipped classroom, I thought it would probably only work for higher levels of high school. But now talking to Dylan and her mom, I think that it could actually be used in the younger grades, and I think it would be very useful. And I also think the earlier that we can introduce the flipped classroom, the better it would be and the more accepted it would be in the higher grades. So I'm hoping that I will be allowed to do this research. Thank you.